Hey everybody, Max Aita here, head coach of Team Juggernaut Weightlifting, and I'm going to show you guys some of my top clean exercises. These are exercises that I really think do a great job of addressing a multitude of different issues. So let's jump into it. This is the first one, clean from the hang below the knee. This is a great exercise for those people that end up jumping forward or the trajectory of the barbell kind of comes out from them. They might swing a little bit. They're not doing a great job moving the bar past their knees. And this exercise does a great job of correcting some of that. So what she's going to do is stand up totally straight, hinge over at the hips first, lower the bar down to below her knees, bend her knees a tiny bit so she can feel her quads, and then she's going to accelerate from there. The key is that she's driving from her legs when the bar is below her knees. We want to emphasize that she's not just levering backward. That helps her keep the bar close to her legs and it helps her make sure that the trajectory is correct. The big benefits of doing this exercise are that you can solidify a perfect start position below your knee and emphasize that transition around the knee. You can keep your low back locked in tight and put a little bit of extra stress there so you can build up your strength around that position. This position, barbell at the knee, is critical. It's really important we get that right, so this is a great exercise to help develop that. Some of the best times to use this exercise are going to be throughout the entire training cycle. Something I would recommend having in as a staple pretty much, for the most part all the time. You're going to do more of it in the general and strength phases. Obviously, as you get close to a competition, you want to dial back the amount of volume you're doing there because it can be a little bit strenuous on your low back and maybe wear you out for a competition. So we would stop it getting closer to a competition. But overall, fantastic exercise. Definitely recommend everybody use it most of the time. The next exercise is the power clean. This is a great exercise variation because it gives us a little bit simpler version of the clean, not as fatiguing because we're not going under the bar as much. We don't have to use our legs or wear our legs out, but it does a really fantastic job of building the overall power in the pull on the clean. So if you're the kind of person that maybe suffers from not quite getting the bar high enough, or you don't have that pop or that explosion in the clean, power cleans are a great option there. So she's going to get set just like she would in a regular clean. She's going to accelerate from the ground, finishing the pull, but racking the bar aggressively at about a quarter squat or a half squat. Something to remember about the position you catch a clean, a power clean in is that if you're catching it, at a quarter squat, that's great. If you're catching it at a half squat, that's also pretty decent. But if you're at a position where maybe that would be a legal depth, squat in a powerlifting federation, a little bit too low, right? We don't want to try and, inch our way down to that very bottom position. Personally, I would like to see them done a little bit more strict, where you're catching it pretty high, like Janice is here, versus catching it really low and posting on Instagram asking people if it's a power clean or not, because if you have to ask, probably isn't one. When I would use this exercise, it's a pretty simple, pretty basic staple in the program. Should exist pretty much throughout the entire plan. In general phases, you can do higher reps and add it to complexes, so you can maybe emphasize the pull a little bit more. In strength phases, it can be done a little bit heavier as a way to test your progress and your pulling strength, see where you're at. And then in peaking phases, it's a great option to do as a reduced intensity technical session so you can still stay exposed to the actual movement itself without really destroying your legs. My next exercise is the clean from the blocks above the knee. So this exercise is a really great option for people that are trying to develop a little more explosiveness in the second pull and really want to emphasize that top portion of the pull and the turnover. So in order to set it up, what we want to do is make sure the blocks are positioning the barbell at about the bottom third of your thigh. So this position for Janice is excellent, right? That bar is right there. It's not on the top of her kneecap. It's not in an awkward spot. She can get set next to it. When she sets up on this bar, she wants to position the bar directly over the ball of her foot, bring her knees under the bar a little bit, and then drop her shoulders down right on top of the bar when she gets her grip. A couple of super important points here about lifting from the blocks. We want to make sure that we're initiating the pull from the block with our legs, that she's driving into the ground through her thighs, and that she's not hitching the bar. She's not kicking her hips up, letting the bar drift out, and then pulling it back in. It's super important to understand that lifting from the blocks really shortens the range of motion of the pull. And because you do that, it's really going to emphasize that you need to be more patient and get that bar all the way to that point of explosion before you jump under the bar. It's easy to kind of rush and try to sneak under and cut the pull a little bit. So this is a great exercise to develop that patience and to really emphasize that if done properly. As far as using the blocks in a program, some of the best places to put it are in the general phase, because it's going to be something that takes a lot of pressure off your low back and legs when you're doing maybe a lot of squatting or pulling movements. This is going to wear on you. These are a good option to sort of alleviate some of that pressure. As you get into the strength phase, they can be done a little bit heavier, obviously, and they're a good option there. Even for people who are a little bit better at lifts from the blocks, you can use it as a way of overloading a little bit and building some confidence. In the peaking phase, I would avoid using blocks too much, because the positioning of the bar, the tempo, the timing, the movement itself can just be a little bit funky and can kind of throw off your whole rhythm going into a competition. So definitely not the best place for it. If you guys like this video, go ahead and check out the link below to our snatch manual or any of our online coaching offerings. And don't forget to like and subscribe.